Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a really central question in the business world. How do companies figure out which sustainability issues actually matter? Well, the answer lies in a process called the Materiality Assessment.
I mean, think about it. Companies these days are just swimming in data on everything from carbon emissions to their supply chain ethics. It's a lot. So how do they separate the real signal from all of that noise? How do they decide what to report on? And maybe more importantly, what to actually act on? That's the core puzzle we're going to solve.
And the answer, the tool they use for this, is the Materiality Assessment. The best way to think about it is like a super powerful filter. It helps a company sift through everything and zero in on the ESG topics, that's environmental, social, and governance, that are most significant for their business and for their stakeholders. Here's a great way to put it. Materiality is the headline for a company's sustainability story. It cuts right through all the clutter and tells everyone, investors, customers, even the company's own team, hey, this is what's important. This is what you need to pay attention to. Okay, so let's get into the weeds a little bit. What are we really talking about when we say materiality in a sustainability context? At its heart, materiality is basically the rule book for deciding what makes the cut in a sustainability report. An issue is considered material if it's a big enough deal to actually influence the decisions people make, or if it reflects a major way the company is impacting the world around it. But here's where it gets really interesting. Materiality isn't just one thing. It's not a single, flat concept. To really get it, you've got to look at it from two totally different angles.
So these two viewpoints are often called outside in and inside out. The outside-in view is all about how sustainability issues out there in the world might affect the company's bottom line. The inside-out view flips that right around and asks, how are our actions, our operations, affecting the world?
Let's really break that down. Financial materiality, that's your outside-in lens. The question here is simple. How could this stuff hurt our business? A perfect example is water scarcity stopping a beverage company from making its drinks. That's a direct hit to the company's value. Then you've got impact materiality, the inside-out view. This one asks, how are we affecting the world? Like, is our factory's pollution messing up the local water supply? It's all about the company's effect on people and the planet, even if it doesn't show up on the balance sheet tomorrow.
So for a long time, companies and regulators kind of picked a side. They focused on one or the other. But that is changing, and it's led to this really important new standard, double materiality.
And double materiality is, well, it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. You're not choosing sides anymore. You're combining both perspectives. The whole idea is that to get the full, comprehensive picture, you absolutely have to look both ways.
Now, the crucial thing to get about double materiality is that an issue is considered material if it's significant from either perspective, or both. A company's greenhouse gas emissions are the perfect example, right? They clearly impact the climate, that's the impact side. And they create financial risk through things like carbon taxes, that's the financial side. And this isn't just some academic theory. It's now a legal requirement in the European Union under the CSRD.
But wait, there's another layer to this. Materiality isn't set in stone. An issue that's barely a blip on the radar today could become a massive, business-critical problem tomorrow. And that idea? That's called dynamic materiality.
Just look at plastic pollution. A decade ago, it was a pretty niche concern for most companies. But fast forward to today, after years of growing public awareness and new laws banning single-use plastics, it's now a major financial risk for a ton of industries. The issue literally evolved into being material right before our eyes.
Okay, so we've got the what and the why down, but what about the how? How does a company actually go about doing one of these assessments?
Well, the basic logic is actually pretty straightforward. For any given sustainability topic, a company asks two key questions. 1, does this have a significant impact on the world? And 2, does it create a significant financial risk or opportunity for us? If the answer to either of those is yes, then boom, the topic is material and has to be reported.
European standards give us a nice 4-step playbook for this. First, you have to understand your own business context. Then, you identify a huge list of potential impacts, risks, and opportunities. They call them IROs. The third step is crucial. You assess that long list to determine what is truly material. And finally, you report on the whole process and its outcomes.
And yeah, that probably sounds like a ton of work. And it is. But the reason it's so important goes way beyond just ticking a compliance box.
You see, materiality is the foundational principle for every major reporting standard out there. For example, the GRI focuses on impact. The IFRS standards, they're all about financial risk for investors. And the EU's ESRS mandate? Double materiality. Different focuses, but they all share the exact same starting principle.
At the end of the day, a good materiality assessment becomes a strategic tool. It forces a company to define its priorities, put its resources where they matter most, and connect its sustainability efforts directly to its core business model. It's about turning sustainability from some side project into a central part of the whole strategy.
And for that strategy to be trusted, the reporting that comes out of it has to be high quality. The goal is what's called faithful representation, which basically just means the information has to be complete, neutral, and accurate. No cherry-picking the good news or hiding the bad.
And that brings us to a final thought. This whole process is really about a company deciding what it values. And that decision determines what gets measured, what gets managed, and what gets reported. So the big question is, who gets a voice in that process? Is it just for management and investors? Or should employees, communities, and others have a seat at the table? It's something to think about.